Let's see if I can, ooh, ha. Hello, that's zoomed in. Hi, I'm super excited to share a topic with you that I did not have planned, so this video might be a little chaotic, but I'm super excited about something that I found. It's a marketing tactic that you can do on Amazon, on your books page, and actually a couple different tactics that I think will help you sell books. I think they will make people impulse buy your book even, because I did that with another author's book. So let me back up, give you a little bit of a behind the scenes, how I discovered this particular, I want to call it a marketing strategy for books, for authors. I don't know what exactly to call it. This video is probably not going to perform well in search unless I figure out something more helpful to call it, because it's using the Amazon author central page, but it's also using your excerpt section or from the author section, which I didn't know how to access, and I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to show you why it's so valuable in a second. And then it's also using your about the author and a few other sections like the editorial reviews. And okay, so let's just get into it. Story time. Okay, we're at my super messy bookshelf. Just, it has no rhyme or reason, just ignore that. I don't know how to organize, but I want to talk about this book right here. The author of this book, Abbie Emmons, has a YouTube channel. She does not know I'm doing this video. By the way, this is not sponsored or anything. I don't think she even knows who I am. But when I found her YouTube channel, I checked out her book out of curiosity. And when I scrolled down the page on her book's Amazon page, I found something there that blew my mind. She had added an excerpt from the story in the from the author section on her book's Amazon page, and it wasn't from the very beginning, because you know how Amazon, they offer an option where a reader can take a look at the beginning pages. Usually it's like the first chapter to the first 2 or 3 chapters. It really depends on how long your chapters are and all that goodness and how much Amazon decides they want you to see. But what Abbie did is she went further into the book, and she took an excerpt that wasn't within those first few chapters, within that sneak peek, and she added that in the from the author section so that a reader could get a feel for a very important, crucial moment in the story. What I would almost call, I don't know if it's the inciting incident or almost maybe even the catalyst, or I don't actually know what story beat it is, but it's the story beat that grabs you. Your beginning pages hopefully will also be grabbing, but there can be points further on in the story where it grabs your attention and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to know what's going to happen next. When you're on Amazon, obviously you have this description section, which we all know how to use because that's what you are filling out when you publish your book online. You are filling this out. But if you keep scrolling, you'll notice that there's more going on. So there's editorial reviews, which I'm going to show you in this video, but then there's also this from the author excerpt, which again, I'm going to show you how to do this in this video. And this right here is what made me impulse buy this book. And I remember I went onto Instagram that same day, or it was either that day or the day the book arrived, and I shared with everybody on Instagram how this excerpt from deeper within the book in a gripping moment in the story had made me impulse buy a book, because I was like, I want to learn how to do this. And I remember I tagged Abbie. I don't think she saw it, but I was like, hey, if you ever want to do a video on this, I would absolutely love that, because I could not figure out how she did it. So eventually I just forgot about it. Then I got this email from Dave at Kindleprenuer, and if you guys know about Kindleprenuer, he also doesn't know that I'm doing this video, but I wanted to give him a shout out because this email from him is what made me come back to the whole thing. And he called it author page magic. So of course I was curious, like, what is that? What does that mean? And he was talking about the editorial review section. I remembered how I had felt about Abbie Emmons' page, and I, of course, connected the dots to that other section, the from the author section, and I thought to myself, I think there's something here. They have a point here, because these two things are working above and beyond to sell more books. And so, as you'll see on my page, after the description section right here, if you keep scrolling, I have finally figured out how to include the editorial review section as well as the from the author section right here. And I'm super excited about these because it actually was more complicated than I expected, but once I found them and I figured it out, I was like, why don't more people use these? So I'm going to show you how to do these two things and give you a couple tips for how to set them up, how to choose the excerpt, which editorial reviews you should include. And to do that, I actually have to show you really quick how to set up an Amazon Author Central page, because it turns out that doing these two things is done through your Amazon Author Central page. If you don't know what an Amazon Author Central page is, then I'm gonna add that this would be very, very beneficial for you to start up as well. But this is what it looks like. If you search how to set up your Amazon author page, you're going to get very simple, clear directions. This page is going to hold things like your books, your sales ranks, all your customer reviews all in one spot, and it's going to look like this to your readers, and it's going to organize everything really nice. You can actually click to follow an author on their Amazon page. You will include your bio right here and anything else that you think your reader should know about you, and it will list all of your books all in one place, which is really, really, really handy. So to set it up, it's super easy. I would just recommend Googling how to set up your Amazon Author Central page, or I will also link below this article from Kindlepreneur. I'll put this in the description box because Dave from the Kindlepreneur, he actually goes way more in detail, so you can read through this if you want. I don't want to like rehash his content because he knows his stuff better than I do, but he actually walks you through each of the steps, how to add pictures, how to add all kinds of cool details, even more than I've ever added. And then this is where I figured out finally how to add the editorial review section. So this right here, I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to walk you through it. Since I already did this for the Stolen Kingdom, I'm going to pull it up and show you exactly what I did for the Stolen Kingdom. I just got to pause for a second because I'm pretty sure my video is going to be interrupted by the sounds of Penny making out with her dino. What are you doing, love? Penny, are we all done? I think he's had enough kisses. Can Mama go back to her video, please? Look outside. Look. Look, 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 there's a bird. That's not very nice of me, but it worked. I'm gonna walk you through how I set up the editorial review section and the excerpt from the author section in a second. But before I do, I thought I'd give you just a couple quick tips for what to consider when you're picking what goes in these things. So for the editorial review section, the most important thing, of course, when you're crafting this editorial review section is to make sure that the reviews are credible, that they're from a credible source. That could mean a company that has a lot of credibility, like the New York Times or the USA Today bestsellers list. Those have a lot of credibility. Or it could be reviews from other authors is also a very credible source, especially if they're in the same genre as you. If you don't have relationships like that just yet, don't worry, you will eventually. But in the meantime, what you can also do, and what is also considered very credible, is to take reviews from your book's Amazon review section. Reviews that already exist, that are on your book. I would recommend the 5-star reviews personally, and take a snippet, like a sentence or two, that works really nicely from those, and use that for your editorial review section. So for example, on my book's page, after the quote, make sure that you also include the tag, I guess I'm gonna call it, to the credible source. So the name of the person, comma, what the credibility is, like author of XYZ book. That lets the reader know why they should care about what this person says. What authority do they have to speak to this book? And so if you don't have these connections with other authors or a review from a credible source, then like I said, you can use your 5-star reviews on Amazon. And what you would do instead is you would put the reviewer's name here, and then you would put comma, the credibility, which would in this case be 5-star review on Amazon. So that way the reader of these reviews knows, looking at it, okay, this is a real thing. The author didn't just make it up. All right, now let's look at how to add this on Amazon. You're gonna start at your Amazon Author Central page. And again, if you need to create this first, take the time to do it. It's really gonna help you out. But you're gonna go to your book section right here. And once you have all your books pulled up, we're gonna look at the Stolen Kingdom. So I'm gonna click on that. And then we're gonna click on a specific version of the book. So I clicked on the Kindle version to show you. And now you'll see this little option right here, which says Edit Book Details. And I do want to point out that it says US only, so I apologize if you're watching this and you're international. I don't know when they're going to roll this out internationally, but you can always come check and see if you have this option. So I'm going to click on that. There we go. Okay, now you can see it's going to show you that I filled it out. So here's the review section right here, and you can see that it's filled out. Then there's the product description section, which this right here is what we filled out when we uploaded the book on KDP or wherever else. This is your typical product details stuff that you already would have uploaded, but you can always edit it after the fact. But then down here is the From the Author section, the Excerpt section. And below that, there's two sections that I haven't worried about using yet, but I did also fill in the About the Author with my bio, because of course I already have a bio, so why not add that? We're gonna walk through all three of these. So to change all of these, obviously we're gonna click Edit, and they are going to give you some guidelines at the top, some of the things that I already talked about, but it's worth reading this here. And then you'll see that it starts you out in the very simple, I'm going to call it normal person section, this tab right here where it says compose in yellow, but then right next to that there's an edit HTML option, and that, if we click on it, is going to look a little bit scary. So if you want to, you can start in this section, and they do give you the option to do very, very simple things like bold and italicize, add numbers, and bullet points. So when it came to this editorial review section, all I had to do is paste in the quotes. I already had this listed out within my product description page, as you can see behind it here. So all I had to do was copy this, paste it in here, and then I personally wanted to really highlight the credibility for each of these authors because I think it's really valuable that other authors were quoting my book. And so what I did is I highlighted it and I just clicked the bold option. So I did not have to go into the HTML and mess with that. And you always want to click preview, make sure it looks good, and then you can save the changes. And once you make the changes, you'll see at the top it says the editorial review changes will be shown on the book sales page within 3 to 5 business days. So it actually happened even sooner than that for me. I think that's just their buffer time in case it takes them a little longer to update, but usually you'll see it really quickly. And that is the easy side of things. It wasn't that easy to do the excerpt, but it was fairly simple to do that with the author bio section as well. So again, when it came to the author bio, you should already have this because you're including it in your book. So you just copy all of that from wherever you have your bio saved, you paste it in here. And if there's anything that you want to add little elements to, like I italicized the URLs, the links to these pages, then you can do that by clicking the little option right here after you highlight it. So it's super, super easy. And of course they have you preview it, read through it, make sure that it's good, and just in case there's anything that's not good, you want to be able to catch that before it goes live, and then you can click Save Changes. And then last but not least, let's talk about the excerpt section, because this, as you guys know, is the whole reason that I'm doing this video, because the excerpt section on 100 Days of Sunlight is what made me impulse buy that book. And so I am super excited to see if this helps people to impulse buy my book. So what I did is, of course, I had to figure out, well, what do I have in the look inside feature? So when you click on the book, let's see. Okay, so it's changed a little bit since I last looked at it. Interesting. So as I'm scrolling through it, it's going to show me the front matter, which is the stuff that comes before the story. And then here is chapter 1. And so it's going to show me through chapter 1. I'm just going to keep scrolling and see. That was chapter 2. Chapter 4. Now I have short chapters, so it makes sense that it would include more. Okay, so it stops somewhere within chapter 4. I really like this update, by the way. It did not look like this the last time I looked at it, but what it does is it says, enjoying this sample, buy the book to keep reading. And so you can literally click right here and buy the book. And so I love, love, love that Amazon does this. But what if there's a part in your story where you feel like your reader is really starting to get to know the character? If there's a part maybe where they meet a love interest, which is what I went with, it might be something that you've had other readers tell you is when they got into the story and they got excited. I've actually had people do character art about this point in the story where Ari meets someone else. I don't want to give away too many spoilers. I guess you guys can read it if you want because this is on Amazon now, but I went further past the look inside section to find something above and beyond that might grip the reader, something that would show who my character is and make the reader want to know more, like need to know more about what is going to happen. This is about, I think it was a little over 600 words, and I think there was a limit, let me see if it says here, up to about 1,600 words roughly, or 8,000 characters, whichever comes first. So you can't include a big chunk here. And I feel like some of you, if you're anything like me, you might be like, why would I want to give away more of the story? But here's the thing that a lot of authors, including myself, don't always realize, which is that the more you know about a story, the more interested you are in reading it. If you're scared to show pieces of your story, I just want to encourage you that it's not going to hurt your chances to hook your reader a little bit more. It's going to help you. While it may turn some people away and they may decide that the book isn't for them, it will also, in the same vein, grab more readers who are interested and convince them. It will be the final convincing information that removes the last bit of their doubts about whether or not this book is for them. So yes, I do understand why you might feel like, I don't want to give away everything because what if they don't like it? But the truth is that it's more important to worry about the people who will like it and giving them enough reasons to buy. And so just going back to my own experience, that book 100 Days of Sunlight, I was super curious about Abbie Emmons, but I don't know her as a person. I hadn't even found her YouTube channel before then. I was brand new to it. And I just wasn't sure if I would like her writing or not, and I wasn't sure if I would like the story or not. And so I just vividly remember that the excerpt section was what pushed me over the edge into wanting to buy, because I got to meet her characters at a very pivotal moment in their story, and I got excited about them, and I had questions were brought up that I needed to know the answer to. I needed to know what happens next. So if you can find a place in your story that's just a little bit further in, I wouldn't recommend going too far in, but just a little bit deeper into the story and finding a place where it makes your readers want to know more and it makes your readers ask questions and be really intrigued by your characters. It might take a little bit of searching, but I think it'll be totally worth it. So you can, again, copy and paste a section from your manuscript, and like I said, it can be about 1,600 words up to 8,000 characters. So this, what I have here, is about 650 or so words. And then I added the character that they were reading just so they would know, but if you only have one character, you can decide whether or not you want to include that. And then I added the word excerpt because technically this section says from the author. So you could include other things here, and I wanted to make it clear this is an excerpt from the book. If you'd like to, you can use the Kindlepreneur book description generator right here. I will again link this below the video, but I ended up doing this directly within this little box. You can paste in your book excerpt exactly as it is, and then you can go ahead and add italics or add the bold like right here. And you can generally do all of this within the regular composing box versus the HTML box. But if you have any issues, you can again use this book description generator to get the HTML code. So whichever way works better for you, and then you'll click preview, and I would highly recommend reading through it because I kept having issues with the italics, and so it's really good to just make sure that everything looks right before you click Save Changes. And there you have it. This is how you add a review section for editorial reviews and other credible sources, how you can add a from the author section, specifically an excerpt that can make people impulse buy your book, and how you can add an about the author section so that your book will have this amazing extra section below it on Amazon that will make your readers want to click and buy right away. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My camera died, so I'm ending it this way, but I really hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and I'll talk to you guys again very soon. Bye!